Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Jade Cocoon. I'm your host TPC Gamer, and in our last episode, we completed the first forest in the game, and we unlocked the door to the second, the Dragonfly Forest. Now, if I'm completely honest, I don't really remember anything about the Dragonfly Forest beyond it is the second one in the game. But that's okay, because the game design point that I've heard from multiple people is that you start strong and you finish strong because players always tend to forget whatever happened in the middle. But it does leave me free to talk a little bit about the technical side of things though. Namely, that I am super happy my Dazzle is recording this game properly and not cutting out the little stutter that happens as I move from one screen to the next. So once you're in an area, like a village or a forest, the game does a lot of half-second load times, rather than unloading and unloading a huge amount of data every time you start exploring. Probably a testament to how sad I am, but I dug out my PS1 for this game, just so I can hear the read head zipping back and forth as it loads each screen. It's such a nostalgic sound to me, like it may as well be part of the game's soundtrack, as far as I'm concerned. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know, I really like the sound of old machinery taking over. And old computers is another one. Like that sort of clicking sound they made as they worked on something, that was really peaceful sound. Ding. Oh, that's not good. I mean, whatever, nice type disadvantage, but the fact that he got 2 hits in is a pretty big deal, and that can be a huge problem later on in the game. Now that happened because Crowley's speed stat is substantially lower than the guy he was fighting. And the speed stat also dictates whether or not you can dodge enemy attacks, and how likely it is that your special attacks will hit. I wonder, do these guys follow between screens? Yes they do, okay. CPC Gamer with the catch! Oh, and you couldn't just give me a couple more EXP to nudge me over into the next level, game. That is rough. I mean, I have always wanted to introduce a system in an RPG where if you only need a small amount of EXP to level up after a fight, the game just gives it to you. And I remember the Kickleberry being important, but I don't remember what it does. I think you have to use it to summon the Birdman or something. Oh, but I remember this bit alright! If you go this way, there's usually one of those armor-plated guys sleeping in a sunbeam. Yeah! Funny how the little things just come back to you, yeah? We really need to get you some more levels, Crowley. That was a mess. It's a good job that your minions heal a little after each fight, because if they didn't, we could be in trouble. And it's a pretty good workaround for the fact that there's no reliable way of making money in this game, if you think about it. I mean, it'd be cruel to make you buy the healing items, but not give you the money to do it. Now, for some reason, I always wanted to make this guy's name into Geraldo. I don't know why. Now, there are a couple of advantages to having a minion that flies rather than one that walks. Later in the game, you'll find a skill that does extra damage to beasts and no damage to birds, and vice versa. Since beasts are more common, the skill to hurt them is more common, and birds tend to get a free pass. And I have to say, something I like about this game, even the low-level magic looks like it packs a serious punch. I mean, compare that thunder animation to, like, Bolt from Final Fantasy and see how that makes you feel, you know? Okay, we are not completely outclassed. It's just that this guy is way too fast for any of my heavy attacks to connect. I think I might just catch this one, using to make a stronger wind minion. And hopefully we can find something that'll make Crowley a little faster too, because jeez. It's early days. It is early days. I mean, I've got plenty of time to do whatever weird genetic splicing I want to do. There's actually some contention about the best way to go about it, and nobody's really sure, because all the guides that I've looked up, they say different things. I mean, you can fuse any minion with any other, and you can create a huge array of weird monsters doing it. Now, my friend Chris would always do it so that he had purebred minions, because a apparently that makes them stronger? I don't know, because I would always have purebred elements. So all the air minions go into one character, all the earth minions into another. Now you can mix and match elements as well, but doing that decreases the effectiveness of every equipped element. Now you could have 100% fire, or 50 each fire and water, for example. Now specializing in types kinda limits your options, especially since you will always be lacking in something as you go through the game. But that's how I play the game. When none of the enemy monsters mix their elements, so neither do I. Now, be very quiet, because I'm hunting minions. When I get round to putting these guys together, I'm gonna have a pretty strong guy. Oh, I see you up there, Birdo. Don't think I don't. So yeah, fusing. There is a method to work out what combinations of minions, get what stats and what skills, but I'm pretty bad at that. I just push numbers as high as I can. I also like to take the spider minions and then bolt wings onto them, because I'm some kind of monster, apparently. I mean, that's the exact opposite of what socially alienated kids are meant to do with spiders. And I think that I have gone the wrong way. Oh, and in doubling back, I have accidentally respawned all the monsters I just fought. Great. No, it's actually great, because I'm going to get a bunch of EXP for doing this. Now, if you'd like to put some points into speed, that'd be great. And unlikely. I mean, every monster body type has its own specific stat growth, and I think that since Crowley looks like a slugger, he's going to have a high attack and low magic and speed. And you know something? Rather than fight my way back to the intersection, then back out again, I'm going to go home, regroup, and try the forest again, but with a newly blended team. Now, I'm not going to cut the video just yet, though, because there are elements in the village that change as the game continues. The most important of which concerns Marbu, and I'm going to show it off. There are one or two other NPCs and plot threads that you can follow around the village, but they're mostly just there to expand the game's spiritual lore. I mean, it's interesting, because it makes the game feel like the village has continued to exist without you, and that everyone is doing their best to just ignore the fact that they're probably living in the end times, and their only hope is just some kid. And it's kinda hopeless in a cute way. Alright, BRB? Okay, we're back here. I still don't really remember a great deal about what's going on in this dungeon, but I like the look of the bits I've survived thus far. I mean, I could do with fewer divergent paths inside divergent paths, but what can you do? I kind of wonder if they were going to go for like a different kind of forest in each dungeon, if that makes sense. Like the beetle forest looked like it had a lot of deciduous trees, like it was in the middle of England, and this forest looks kinda subtropical, like, I don't know, Taipei or something like that? Why is that the first place I went to? Also, I like that I have found two separate dead ends. Still, the fact that this guy is an Earth type means that I get to show off one of the changes that I have made to my team. So check it out. I used the guys that I picked up in my first trip into this forest. I upgraded the hell out of Tail of Nobody, and he looks badass. I think it's the wings. And he has a wind attack with an accuracy modifier, and the plus accuracy part means that it costs an extra 50% mana, but that attack will not miss. It's a shame I haven't found the fire minion with the accuracy modifier, because if I could take Crowley's raw power and ensure that it hits, I would be golden. And I'm surprised that I went with that locust dog design, because usually when I use that armadillo family, I use their textures, because that metal plating looks so cool. But again, it's early days, and we've got plenty of time to put huge metal wings on everything, because physics be damned, that is a cool character design. It makes no sense at all. Like, in what possible scenario would evolution allow actual metal plating to develop? Oh, incidentally, there's no advantage to the various skins in this game. If I did have a character with metal plating, it wouldn't make their stats any different. It just looks super amazing. I say if, it's actually when. It's coming, I need to find the right parts to do it. However, that will be in the future. And right now, I'm going to go back to the main intersection and pick the right direction this time. Which is actually the left direction. But I hope you understood what I meant. This is not Clockwise starring John Cleese. I have got to stop talking as I head into a fight. Because I don't intend to show most of them, and one of these times I'm going to make it excessively hard for myself to edit. It does give me a chance to show off the liquor, though. The Shab liquor is best for healing mana, while the good liquor is best for healing health. And it's really good that they found a way to keep the base healing items useful, when you'd usually just replace them and forget them the first chance you got. I mean, you've probably played RPGs. Why use potions when high potions are on the table, you know? I am kind of surprised the liquor went uncensored when the game got localized. I mean, 1999 was one of those weird transitional phases where some things were kind of okay, but other things still kind of weren't. I mean, there were some changes in localization, and I will tell you about them after this incredibly non-video worthy fight. Ooh, nice! So yeah, the biggest localization change was the box art, because, hell, isn't it always? I mean, Japan, the box art was a nice watercolor painting of Levant sitting in the forest. And in Europe, the box art was a pen and ink drawing of Levant and Marbu in the middle of fighting a Titan while Chorus watches on. And the American box art completely misses the point, and it has a big futuristic font and it shows awesome pre-renders of your sick monster pals, bruh! Like, what are they thinking? Ooh, and what is that? Yeah, okay. Other than the box art, the game is largely uncut. Although there is one monster that they cut outside of Japan, which is a fairy that's in blackface, because, I mean, apparently that's still okay in Japan? It's like Mr. Popo. Except he is blue now. And in fact, he was always blue, so shut up, that never happened. I mean, on the one hand, I can get why they take out the racially sensitive stuff, especially since the attitudes are different in Japan to the rest of the world, but why the box art? And it's not like this is a single instance, either, because Nintendo do it all the time. If you're not familiar with American Kirby as hardcore, then you probably should be, because it's an actual thing that actually happens, and it's a series of baffling design choices. I don't know if that's me being lucky, but I'm pretty sure I should have the flesh to stone ailment right about now. Unless that attack is not what I think it is, which is a sincere possibility. I'll explain that status when I get to it, but for now I'm just going to whittle these guys down, and actually I think I'll catch both of them. I mean, whatever they can do, they'll be a fine addition to Trish when we get them back home to the missus. Plus it's more EXP for me, which is always welcome. I mean, I'm probably mistaken what those guys do, because Flesh to Stone is a really nasty status ailment, and I can't imagine they'd throw this at me this early in the game. Although with that said, I remember this game having a really wavy difficulty curve that does spike in a couple of places, mostly around the boss fights. I want a full disclaimer about that. I intend to level up my minions between videos, and I'm going to focus on stat growth when I merge them, but I'm not going to grind or power level or, you know, breeze through the rest of the game. Not much fun to watch, and it's not much fun to do, frankly. So I'm just going to get whatever levels I get, play the game like I'm in my room, playing this on my downtime. Oh hey, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I like to think I'm doing this to a gigantic stadium of millions of fans, but it's just me. The world is not ready for total monster fighting saturation. Not like the Pokemon world. Now, on the one hand, I feel kinda bad stealing the capture from my minions, when they're the ones that did all the work. But on the other hand, it's all gonna go into the minion melting pot when we get back home. Oh, and this is one of the things that I love and hate about 3D games. Pushing your face into the wall and mashing X to see if you can find any hidden items. The thing that happens in Jade Cocoon, though, all the stuff you can find is in bags or just stuff on the floor. Now, if I remember rightly, that's a progress corridor, so I'm not going to go that way just now. Jade Cocoon is an RPG in every sense, right down to the bit where the further you stray from your path, the better things are for you. I wonder, can I sneak past you? Oh, I can! I'm glad you're a non-aggressive monster, so I'm okay to get close to you and steal all your stuff. See ya! Oh, wow, look at the perspective on that. Now, they've got the horizontal draw distance down to pat, but the vertical one is not so great. And forget you, pal. I'm going this way. Oh, it's this screen! I know where I am, because that door right there, that is a progress door. That's where we find the Birdman. So, let's go back to the corridor I saw just now, and see what lies ahead. Right after I mash my face into the wall to get to the exit. Now, can I get past you? I don't know. I don't need to fight or catch any more Earth minions at the moment, because I've already got all the parts I need to put together to make a nice addition to the team. And just watch, the next thing that jumps out at us is going to have some super-powered minion that I can't touch. Or it's you again. I like that the various monsters have different behaviors in this game. I mean, most of them chase you down, some of them establish a perimeter and stand their ground, some run away, and those guys just don't care. I think I need to boost nobody's speed, because half the special attacks missed, and I had to finish those guys off by hand. That was a mediocre haul at best. Agni Seal is a usable item that lets you cast, I want to say fire? But only because Agni sounds like Agi, which is what Persona calls the fire attacks. Agi, Agilao, and Maragidine. The seals are kind of useless, but I did get an accessory, so that's good. I mean, maybe it's just me, but whenever I get an item that's a usable spell in an RPG, I just sell it, because I can do the spells. Crowley's not the best at magic, but he can do a fire attack, and that's just as effective when it hits. I think I need to buff his speed, too. I seem to recall this happened the last time I played this game, too. Oh, and that is a super cool screen. Look at that! There's very little to it, but it immediately establishes we're only seeing a very small part of a whole. Hi? And aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper? Wait, what? Also, I love how this guy straight up says, "Hello, I see that you two are a massive criminal here to engage in illicit activities." It's great. And I forget what this guy does. I'm kind of thinking I need to tag in one of my minions, though, because that was not a great attack. Oh, he summons a minion of his own. Nice. Or... oh, no. So you might have seen this in the post-fight screen. I made an Earth minion, and I brought her into the forest so I can get her some levels, but in doing so, I benched Lynod, because I haven't used him at all in this forest. So we'll introduce Player 4 later, but for now, Crowley, take the wheel. Nobody has the type disadvantage, and our new challenger doesn't have high enough stats to take this one on her own, so... you're up, Boxer B! Better start throwing harder punches than that, though, because that was not great. And I'm pretty sure this is just a standard RPG boss fight. Like, the goat and the poacher can't be poisoned or whatever. All you need to do is some magic attacks with a type advantage, and you'll be fine. Have I come into this under-leveled? I mean, I'm not even doing my slow attacks, and this guy's running rings around me. I guess that's what I get for leaving Bod behind, huh? You know the embarrassing thing? This isn't even the boss that I remember having trouble with. I don't even remember this boss at all. That's how silly and inconsequential he is in the grand scheme of things. But here he is, just kicking me around. Yes! This is just as I had intended, you see, because now it is time for a tutorial on using items mid-battle. Minions can't use items, it has to be Levant, so you have to keep an eye on your own health, as well as your monsters, and you have to be able to take at least 2 hits, because that's very often what the game's going to throw at Levant while he's healing the team. Now, healing mid-fight becomes less of a risk once you get some better armor and you buff your health up. I mean, they changed it in the sequel, so it's always a gambit. You can survive 4 attacks in a fight, and the 5th one knocks you down. And speaking of gambits, I'm going to get right back to the offensive and hope that I don't need to heal myself, because I don't think I'm fast enough for it to pay off again. Right, the Wheel of Fate is turning. Rebel 2, action! You know, I don't think this game has some kind of damage scaling or fatigue system or whatever, but it looks like I'm doing a lot more damage per hit than I was before. And I really like both of these guys' attack animations. Like, the goat's hurricane kick is super cute, and I love the huge wind-up that Crowley does. It's pretty good. The high chop is less good, if I'm honest. Although, now I come to think about it, I'm pretty sure this guy's meant to have a weapon. I mean, look at his stance. He looks like he's holding something. Is the game glitched out? To that end, how comes that Crowley can do a horn attack when he doesn't actually have a horn? I have only just noticed that. Well, this is the end. And it looks like that poacher got in harm's way. That one doesn't even get a yeah. That was stupid. I've been workshopping that joke for 2 days, and that is the best I could do. Okay, time to use one of the walnuts I have. One advantage is that it completely refills your health, thus saving on healing items. It's like the capacity trick in Resident Evil. I will save the other one for now, because I might need it later. I mean, you can't use it mid-battle, but that's probably down to the way the battle system was programmed. Like, it's already read the variables for health and stuff. You can't tinker with them halfway through. Anything else I can steal when I'm in here? Looks like no. That is bull honky. There's plenty of stuff in that little shack. I could have taken some of that. I remember I always liked to imagine that little tent being the poacher's tent, and that's all the stuff that he had stolen or brought with him. And the reason we didn't take it is because it's not our fight. You know, we're here to cure the sleeping sickness. Oh, hello! I'm gonna fight you and call it a video, I do think. I want to head home, recover, regroup, before heading back through the ruins. Oh, and of course there's 2 of you. Of course there is. But these guys are water types, so it's time to introduce our 4th entrant. Here's Trish. Long-standing friend, GM, and confidant. Turn the party out like a bon vivant with the skill at will that I know you want. Now, she has an earth attack on her fangs, and no magic. But that's fine, because given her stat spread, she doesn't need magic. Seriously, did you see that? She is really fast, and her strength stat is really high. That is a very good combination. As you can see, she doesn't really have a lot of MP to do her special attacks, but that's something we can breed out and improve on as we go through the game. Besides, she is a strong, independent Earth type. Don't need no mana. Oh, and her standard attack is not too shabby either. Nice. Depending on what happens when I merge her with the green turtle things, we might see a new minion next time, because we do need an Earth type. I still didn't work out what I'm gonna do in terms of changing minion names, and I'll think about that, and I'll get back to you. Now, by and large, every minion focuses on either their HP bar or their MP gauge. Like, you can't have both. And the minion's growth dictates which gauge gets the boost. So if you focus on attack, you get HP, magic gets you MP. I don't think there are minions that are weird outliers like Blissey from Pokemon, for example, but I could be wrong. Gosh, I hope I'm wrong, because Blissey is a hilarious gimmick build and I love her. Okay, now back to this. I don't think I'm going to end up using this guy for anything, but it could be interesting to see if Lana gets a stat boost from merging with it. And actually, that is something I'm going to go and do off camera. I'm going to cut the video here, and we'll be back at the Spiral Cave with the newly upgraded minions. So until next time, goodbye!